swallow. Drink Coke, swallow. Drink Coke, swallow. Retrieve notepad from backpack. Lift pen. Begin composing the list Jack commissioned for his opera. Use automatic writing. Jack. Drink Coke, swallow. Turn on Os Mutantes. Do you know what automatic writing means? Have you ever read a French surrealist? Drink Coke. Is automatic writing lazy writing? Fantastic. Surreal. Boring. Swallow. So far you are only writing about making a list. Will this be a list about making a list? Will you hate it? Embrace. Change title from Jack's List to How to Be Luke Swenson on the 250 Frontrunner between Provo and Salt Lake City on July 14th, 2014. A list of how to be me in this moment. Clear. Me, not you. Will it be conceptual? A list is boring. A list of lists is boring. Drink Coke. Check song name, Virginia. Listen to joyful Brazilian psychedelic rock. Sun rays breaking through the clouds above Utah Lake. Reminisce on last night's intimacy. Swallow. Would Lindsay mind you publishing something so blunt? Reword the intimacy sentence. Would your list be of physical actions or thoughts? Hate the metatextual. Bullet point. Drink Coke. Swallow. Do you think stringency is necessary for conceptual projects, or should artful deviation be allowed? Reach for a Coke can and catch the place where your two headphones meet your finger and yank them from your ears. Look below the table. See the thin white cord hanging from a thick black cord. Grab the thin cord between your thumb and finger. Lift. Headphones drag along the floor. The phone charger is lying on the floor. Lift. Reinsert the plug. Drink Coke. Did your headphones catch your headphones with just one finger or your whole hand? Can't remember? One finger creates a better image. Change original entry from your hands to your finger. Swallow. The tingling sensation of yanking plastic from your ear. Tickets! Have you lost your ticket? Reach with your right hand into your left pocket, grasp below the wallet and remove. Retrieve ticket and unfold. Present to the officer. Cool. The officer, his strong body and young face. Will Jack joke about you enjoying the officer's body? Bromances. Joke. Dude walks into a bar and doesn't express intimacy. Will you write the whole train ride? Will they hate your writing? The line cool sounded stupid, right? Look up. A tall man in a running jacket argues with the officer on board, fidgeting to avoid his glance. But this officer smiles and nods so synthetically that the tall man scoffs and grows quiet, because what the hell else is he supposed to do? How would you set this list to music? Could the bullet points be represented musically? Could the sounds correspond to what you hear riding the train? How does it sound becoming a poet today? Drink Coke, swallow. Both your thoughts and outside events are represented in the list. Have you read this line already? Are you forgetting your most engaging ideas? Will Jack hate this list because it can't engage an audience? Will this line affect his opinion? If this list ends up boring, at least listeners will have a moment to think about why this list is boring, or about their own problems, their relationship with this person or that, happy or sad because of this or that, both as fine as everything else. Lift pen. Would describing the officer's story with a more belligerent customer help engage the audience? Change the story. Are writers' thoughts and fears relatable to people in other circumstances and with other interests? For instance, will this list have an audience? Did that question engage you? Arriving at Murray Station. The train door opens. Unplug phone, pick up phone and charger, and secure them in your backpack. Pick up backpack. Did you take too long to pack up? Will you make it off the train? Bump into a woman in a yellow shirt and jeans. Enjoy her presence. Did you leave your phone on the train? Kneel down. Interrupt the flow of people exiting the train. Check for your phone in your backpack. See the phone. Sigh. Did you annoy someone by stopping? Stand up. Walk towards the streetcar station in the hot summer sun. Arrive surrounded by passengers of the former train. Some you remember. A pair of teenagers who must have been sitting across from you on the train. Look above them. Red Line Medical. 2 minutes. Toss your can of Coke away and sit down on a bench. To your left, a large man in a green shirt. To your right, a skinny man in a red shirt. Retrieve notepad from backpack. Replace all the actions that occurred while walking from the front runner to the light rail. Heads turn as a streetcar slows towards the station. Doors open, people exit, you enter. Sit across from a student with a black shirt of a frog skeleton, white headphones in her ear. Three intoxicated individuals enter the train and walk to the quad of neighboring seats and sit down, cornering the woman. Listen closely to the neighboring booth and record their actions because it's something happening, and readers enjoy reading about something happening. Note: based on some passing remarks by your workshop group, expand the project by asking for criticism. Choose your father because you haven't talked in a while. And of all people readily available, you are sure he would dislike it the most. From Luke Swenson 105@gmail.com to eric@math.byu.edu, eric@mathematics.byu.edu. Dad, could you give me some feedback on my poem by Thursday? It doesn't need to take you long at all. I'm looking for your honest opinion on the writing, and I'd be quite confused if it came back all flattery. Comments in the Google Doc are easiest for me, but you can write your reactions, suggestions, criticisms, however you like. Consider the task very gentle payback for your analytics final. See you soon, Luke. From eric@math.byu.edu to Luke Swenson 105@gmail.com. Okay, I took a look at your poem. Some thoughts. Does the list of all boring lists list itself? Needs more Coke, as do I. I am not sure how to critique stream of consciousness. Do I say, no, you shouldn't have thought that? Also, your obsessing over yourself should be you''re, obsessing over yourself, unless the bad grammar was intentional. Similarly, carriage is missing an A, unless that was intentional. Is the only reason you asked me to critique this poem because you mentioned me critiquing the poem in the poem? Russell called. He wants his paradox back. Is my critique of this work going to become part of the poem? Is this really how poems are supposed to work? Poems clearly need a union. Also, too, I would not want to be mentioned in a poem that has my writing in it, because I have standards. From Luke Swenson 105 to eric@math.byu.edu. Dad, thanks for looking over the poem. This is exactly what I was looking for. The unity of the poem comes from the procedure that created it. The theory is, because I am upfront about what my procedure was, you always know why the language is where it is, even if the sentences don't build a clear structure with themselves. Hence, unity. Keeping with this honesty, every step I make must have either come from the original stream of consciousness, or I have to note the changes I make to the poem in the poem. I really enjoy that by trying to be entirely honest with the reader about the experience, I create a recursive maze that makes the actual experience much harder to access than a personal essay would be, which, because it doesn't explain its procedure, would be lying in this framework. I know it's heady, but I hope the humor pulls it through. You have it backwards, not that it really matters. I thought, to include your critique in the poem, and that is why I had to note that thought into the poem. As far as Russell's paradox, I learned about the idea as mise en abîme, or something like that, but I think it's basically the same. Yes, I'm hoping to include your critique as part of the poem. The whole point of the poem is that it comments on itself, and it will enrich the poem to have critiques that come from someone else. You have legitimate concerns, and I think the reader will sympathize with you. Are you opposed to it? I wouldn't exactly change your language. I wouldn't change it at all. You would just have the space in the work to say exactly what you think. In a lot of ways, it gives you much more control over your representation than you would have had if I had written a personal essay. Thanks, Luke. From eric@math.byu.edu to Luke Swenson 105@gmail.com. Luke, you do what you want to. The last line was an attempt at humor. Love, Dad. The man turns to his company, and they discuss a friend who was high for 2 weeks, and how that would have been too much for them, but he was just that kind of guy. Library, 200 east, 400 south. Jump. You are almost there. Will you be able to read your notes later? Will Jack even like this list? Has your writing become experimental or irrelevant? What are you studying? The older woman has turned and is looking you directly in the eye. German, which is better than saying writing, because she would have asked what kind of writing, and you would have answered fiction anyway because you feel stupid saying poetry. That look people give you like you're some kid who needs to learn some life lessons. Jolt forward. Stand up. Walk into the middle of the carriage and wait for the doors to open. Follow the slow movements of bodies onto the hot concrete of the platform. Appreciate the Salt Lake City Public Library for its organic roundness. Retrieve notepad from backpack. This sort of writing experiment was conducted in the 70s, when this sort of thing was cool. Steal the idea. Take pen from mouth. Are you still writing? Check your backpack for your phone. 4:40 p.m.